13th champion. I'll talk about that in a second. Xiaohu's going to pick this up. It is a support. Lulu. Yeah, just coming back. Knight has played 17 unique champions, with Sett adding number 17 itself. That's Doomby levels of insane.
Yeah, really nice to see. And, you know, going over to RNG, we did speculate that it would be Lulu for Ming because it just fits his style that Ming has always loved to go back to. But this composition definitely about buffing up GALA and Xiaolongbao early on. They do have a lot of early aggressive options coming out because their bot lane's going to have pressure. They obviously have this aggressive topside 2v2 that, you know, can come out ahead. And then Xiaohu is that late game insurance policy. But hey, when you have a Lulu, this Ashe also still going to keep hitting like a truck in the late game.
It really is. We know that Lulu is few and far between here in the LPL. It is nice to see it not on Xiaohu. And I know all the RNG fans out there will definitely agree.
The heavy sigh of relief, like, oh god, thank god. Let's put him on another pseudo-supportive mid laner. But at least this one is damage.
But you talked about top esports running into this game too. You talked about the poke element, the disengage available. Does it go any further than that? Do they run into RNG well? You got to give me the lowdown.
Definitely not. I mean, as top esports comp, you don't want to be running into an Olaf or a Renekton, like the Lulu shields coming out for the Olaf, the shockwave coming out that's going to be on the Olaf and the Renekton.
But
Still
this is
a good question.
This is another game where we've got a lot of elements to play through early, right? Where top esports and RNG still testing each other a little bit after RNG in game 1 took them down so decisively in 30 minutes. Xiaolongbao was the deciding factor in that jungle matchup we're going to be talking about running into this game number 2. As we run into the rift here once again, RNG up a game to kick off the series.
Am I the only one who noticed that there was one guy who did a gyro for both teams?
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty sure the guy in the top left corner did both gyros.
What a fence sitter.
I love it.
Oh, my Lord. You can't do that.
Yes, you can't. Don't pick a side.
Of course you have to pick a side.
What if he's a fan of Karsa and RNG? You know, actually, I very much agree with the Colonel's read of this game.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like RNG are the ones who have all of the early options, because when you look at the side of TS and like where they're going to have pressures and priorities, like, sure, 369 wants to fight with the Renekton early. He can pair up with the jungle well, but you have double AP, so it's going to be kind of awkward, especially if the Renekton can, you know, rush an early null magic mantle or something along those lines. I definitely favor RNG's top 2v2.
Okay.
Bot lane is the Ezreal, so it's not really something we expect to see Karsa interacting with early on. It's going to be all about mid-jungle for the side of TS, and I really feel like it is waiting for JackeyLove to get to that point of strength. Everything's going to be about if Karsa and Knight can get ahead in the 2v2. Okay. But for RNG, you have the Renekton and the Olaf, so much stronger in the top lane 2v2. You're going to be very good in the skirmishes. We talked about how their bot lane should have priority because it is double ranged against the melee support, so they'll have push. And Xiaolongbao's options on both sides of the map to play around, and also extremely strong in the mid-jungle 2v2 because, you know, he is an Olaf. The thing is, I'd at least favor TS's early on.
Early on?
Early on in the mid-jungle 2v2.
Yeah. And we get to mid, and then it differs a bit. And, of course, late, you talked about the options for RNG, plus the Lulu on your side with an Ashe and Olaf. Yes,
but at least late game, I feel like TS should have an easier time playing from that range option because you only have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to get onto TS's carries.
Okay, I like that. Very clear cut.
Yep, so RNG should be favored early, TS should be favored more late. Top esports really only avenue in the early game is through mid-jungle.
We'll see how that buff up comes here from RNG as news on top of 369, but the Kennen into this Renekton, we've talked about a little bit here. There are a lot of options into Renekton. This one has been favored by some of our top-tier top laners. Yep,
definitely does good in the isolated 1v1, especially early on in the lane, not before, you know, Renekton can get something like a Dominus up, but when you do have Renekton, he does just combo so well with a lot of junglers. Olaf not necessarily one of them, but still going to do quite well into Kennen plus Nidalee.
We're seeing some trading across the map. JackeyLove just gets absolutely bullied by that range advantage you talked about. yuyanjia, of course, going to give a bit more health back here with the Doran Shield. No, what do we call it now? The Plate Mail. Wish we didn't rename the...
Also, just interesting to note that JackeyLove did go for the lethal tempo Ezreal, which does give him more, not control, but gives him better time playing out the waves, right? Because you can block the lethal tempo, you get the bonus attack speed, you can, you know, hit more minions in the wave and at least thin it out, have an easier time.
Something we started seeing it in spring, right?
We saw it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then it just disappeared again.
The thing is, it's much harder, in my opinion, because It's a bit better in the early game than Conquer because, right, it's much harder to stack up Conquer, especially now to 12 when you got to continuously hit things like those Qs and whatnot, to where Lethal Tempo, you proc it very easily by hitting the enemy.
Oh, Karsa was spotted out. He just came into the mid lane, pounced over in the gap of vision, and Xiaohu saw him.
This is what we've always seen, though, right? It is about Sett, who can pretty much just ignore any enemy mid laner, throw down the haymakers at the wave, has the AoE clear, and allows for Nidalee to go for this aggressive counter jungling.
But here comes Xiaohu to the bottom lane.
I don't expect him to look for a dive. I mean, both top esports bot laners are full HP.
And no ulti available here against the Nautilus. Could be difficult, but the wave is
like,
stacking up.
Yeah, looks like they want it. They definitely have the minion wave like you talked about.
Xiaohu ready to roll on in. Undertow connecting will be crucial. Exhaust put down against the wall. JackeyLove just dead. Ming flashes out after taking the turret aggro, and that's easily done for first blood.
And again, the execution looked hard, but RNG pulling it off beautifully. Ming does blow both summoners, but doesn't matter. You pick up that kill on the Olaf, which is massive, and Xiaolongbao's the member who snowballed the game last game.
I mean, he was the one that picked up the early kills, early advantage. Once again, Xiaolongbao in a favoring position, with Chilling Spite now picked up.
And I always love when you get your kills on an early aggressive jungler like Olaf, because, right, he's going to be the target that's going to move around the map. He's the fluid one. You know, he can go towards top, look for the gank, look for the 2v2 like we talked about. So getting the advantage on your jungle is going to be massive.
As 369 tries to stop the back up in this top side. Teleport will be burned by New, who went back to pick up the Merc Treads nice and early.
He does have the wave pulled on his side, so it's going to be really awkward for New to go up in CS. But the Merc Treads are something we talked about, right? Because you're facing Nidalee plus Kennen. So if we do ever get these skirmishes that devolve in the top side of the map, you're going to be set up very well.
And you talk about the aggressive 2 versus 2 as yuyanjia just walking out of the river after getting bullied by GALA and Ming, who after that trade are looking pretty good. Pulling in the Lulu, maybe not. yuyanjia with an undertow. He's getting targeted down, and Xiaolongbao with kill number 2. JackeyLove, the undertow dodged away from though as Xiaohu nails him with an auto. And RNG, where are you coming from?
And when their backs are against the wall is when they're playing some of the best League of Legends we've seen. Great play coming from Xiaolongbao, reading the aggressive play coming out from TS themselves. Xiaohu coming in with the TP as well to secure 2 more kills for RNG.
One of them again onto Xiaolongbao, and the gold lead at 1,500 at 6 minutes in the game. Knight stays mid, picks up turret plating, but you can't deny that this Olaf will now run down anyone.
Yep, and sure, we see a play. Karsa's also picking up the dragon on the mini-map right now, but RNG's comp, we said, wants to find this gold advantage, wants to snowball very early, so losing something like an early Cloud Drake really doesn't mean anything for RNG.
Yep. You get to see what it's rolled into as well, into the ocean. So Infernal or Mountain Soul coming up this game.
And we've already seen Xiaolongbao finish his jungle item. Xiaohu keeping into this play, hits a very nice Q, goes in with the auto aggressively, lands another Q, and just finishes that one off very beautifully. Hits
ult, and there's no way the top esports are going to engage after that anyway. So again, early advantage for RNG in this game number 2. We've also got an early Cinderhulk for Xiaolongbao.
Yep. And the thing I want to see is, right, we're at the 7-minute mark, so Rift Herald will be up in 1 minute. I definitely want to see RNG be the one to pick that up. We said, hey, they want to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They want to keep moving forward. It looks like they're going to do that right now.
Might be able to. Shockwave pulls Knight back on in. Escape options through the showstopper, but Xiaolongbao hits the undertow, and a bit of miscommunication. Maybe the kill could have come through as Dominus now in the top lane. New wants to get on top of 369, is slicing Maelstrom for the disengage. Both top laners now low.
This is what happens in this matchup, right? The second you do get that dominance, even against the Slicing Maelstrom, just gives you such nice stats in that isolated 1v1. He already has some Merc Treads, so feels fine going into 369 and forces 369 away.
Karsa not going to hear the spear. That was a couple of seconds of difference. Walking into trouble for Karsa on this Nidalee, who does have a bit of a CS lead, but the couple of kills are going to make so much more gold in the back pocket here for Xiaolongbao. Disappears out of the enemy jungle, goes back to his own. Red buff available, plenty more camps available too.
I also want to highlight that Xiaohu's going towards the GLP rather than the Ludens, and I actually love that in this game, especially when we said, hey, they actually don't have much, you know, CC or lockdown potential into what TS have drafted, so going towards this, especially when your comp is designed more to kind of snowball through the early game, I think it's a very smart purchase coming from Xiaohu.
The early options we talked about. Also like that when you have a late game insurance, to use your words, on Xiaohu, and when he gets, you know, kills early, when he pulls himself into a very good position before he even gets to that relevant point, we are talking about his first item. We are talking about what Xiaohu's going to do, especially around these early objectives.
And we're seeing RNG move up for the Rift Herald. As we highlighted, we definitely want to see them pick it up. They want to keep accelerating the pace of the game, and we see Xiaohu starting it up right now.
All right, no one else here. 369 does have the slicing maelstrom, but he's just walking towards the mid lane at this point, and
you know, random tangent. Despite doing this, you know, all season long, unconsciously, whenever I start saying Xiaohu, my mind still tries to say Xiaohu.
yeah. Thought I was the only person. Ragnarok used slicing mouse from there as well. The flash here from Karsa. A crucial shutdown to the Nidalee was big.
Yeah, nice pick coming out from TS, just abusing the small window where RNG are backing off from the Rift Herald. And, you know, a bit of gold in the pocket is going to be nice, especially when we said, hey, they are the comp that should have a better time the longer this game goes.
And now you're someone like Xiaohu who's actually threatened away from the mid lane turret because Karsa's busy in the enemy jungle, taking away some camps.
Right, and he has to respect the dive potential, not necessarily because of the Nidalee, but because Knight does have the ability to get on top of Xiaohu with the showstopper. So, Sett obviously an extremely tanky champion, great in dives with the shield coming from the Haymaker.
It leads to another as well with the Scuttlecrab being taken. Karsa gets some topside camps, gets bottom side Scuttle, and is now at about a 20 CS lead with the Runic Echoes sitting in his back pocket. He's got double buffs as well. There's a lot of camps for him to take, so much like game number one, but on the other side, it just feels like Karsa has a lead.
He felt very disrespected last game having to play against the Nidalee. Wanted the Nidalee himself, wanted the EXP advantage. It's feeling good.
But there is a Rift Herald available for Xiaohu, so I'm curious as to where that gets put down.
And again, I always say, just throw it down mid. If you don't have a long side lane to play through, throwing it down mid is just kind of the nicest option of opening up both sides of the map, forcing Knight, you know, a champion that does just want to kind of clear waves mindlessly under his tier 1 turret.
But also put that game back in the swing of RNG when it was them who started out with 2 kills on this Olaf, and Xiaohu having another great game.
I could also see them using it towards the side lane just for the fact that they've already started taking plates down there. So at least being able to secure a turret in one go is obviously always better than, let's say, they just get 3 plates mid.
It does feel like setting up for bot here might be the play, but spotted out by a good trap from Karsa. As Xiaohu is veering his head around this bottom side jungle, dropping some deep vision as he does it, while Karsa is up towards the top side. This electrocute Nidalee trying to pounce towards mid.
Knight has Ghost, he has Ultimate, so it will be very easy for him to get on top of Xiaohu.
But a nice ward placed by top esports to spot this rotation in action.
And look, but also, I was going to say, look at Karsa, because Karsa's just invading the top side jungle.
Dominus use, slice and dice, Knight on his way. Half health as the heal comes through. Karsa still positions. Rift Herald going to be placed down, and GALA and Ming going to be happy about this.
Yep, and like we said, makes sense to use it, especially take a turret in one go. Can also set up for this dragon quite nicely.
Shockwave to use. yuyanjia gets pulled back, but not before the dredge line gets him to safety. Bit of movement speed for Xiaohu, but he can't get the kill on the support. But at the very least, you mentioned the dragon, low health bar. He needs to back away. I
was going to say keep your eyes on 369 because he was heading over, but it looks like the call comes out from TS. So just, hey, give up the Drake. It's only the first one. It's not too big of a deal.
Karsa's on the back of the pit. Will be spotted out by a ward here that's just tracking him.
GALA has arrow.
Good dodge of the spear. Just stands in front of the dragon. Can't be stolen away. The arrow not used in the end.
Yep, GALA was ready just in case Karsa was looking for some sort of shenanigans.
But now what, Lyric? What am I pacing my eyes towards?
Yeah,
maybe not.
For RNG's comp, you kind of get an awkward place where no one wants to sit in a side lane, especially bot right now. So it's more of a 1-4 setup with the Renekton constantly pushing and moving because it is still more of a 5-man.
Yep.
So I want to see, do RNG just send their bot lane top, which it doesn't look like they're doing. We're going to send Renekton down to the bot side and potentially set up for the next Herald and start playing for topside plates.
Still available for the next minute and a half.
And since New does still have TP, I would just expect to see Xiaohu play aggressively around the top lane, maybe look for invades in the enemy jungle, steal away a blue buff, get some deep vision aggressively, because New always will be in an angle where he can join out. He also built the Tiamat, so has at least signaled he's going to be a lot more about moving and supporting the team.
Very true. Does delay his first item, but wave clear is going to be quite exceptional. Holding off against JackeyLove in that bottom lane, who's stayed there quite consistently with the Manamune. But yuyanjia with a bit of a deep ward that won't be spotted out. Xiaohu now going to be flash base breaking his ulti back on. Everyone on top. It's a Xiaohu sandwich.
Yes, it was. yuyanjia coming in so aggressively. Didn't even matter what happened. Knight flashed in with the ultimate as well, so Xiaohu was definitely going down. They actually might be able to potentially pick up this mid lane turret off of all the plates that Knight had gotten previously. Every single lane plates are going down, though, at the same time. JackeyLove getting some solo gold
which he definitely needs after getting bullied a bit in the early game. But GALA and Ming, we have to talk about this Bladed Ruin King comboed with the Lulu. They're going to be quite large and in charge.
Yeah, especially later in the game, right, when he's able to pick up something like an Ardent. So GALA going to be in a good position. And hey, you know, we are trading sides. RNG are going to be able to pick up this turret. We expect TS to get one on the other side. Luckily for RNG, they weren't able to take down the mid lane turret because Nu was hovering.
That's 2 turrets for RNG and 1 for top esports, though.
And the nice thing, too, is, you know, because of obviously which sides of the map are cut, RNG were also able to get vision into TS's topside jungle with Rift Herald going to spawn soon. This is definitely the next place where RNG are going to look. Both top laners have TP, so it's something to keep our eye on. So even if Nu is in the bot lane, it doesn't matter. Especially
with these 1 items we talked about coming online. The Athene's now picked up for the Lulu, plus a Cloak of Agility and Dagger in the back pocket of GALA.
I do want to highlight TS, though, because 369 also does have his Proto Belt. So
very true.
You highlighted earlier, right? Nu still hasn't finished the first item because he did make his way towards the early Tiamat for the push.
I mean, he's also got a needlessly large rod. That big thing in his inventory sits alongside it with a completed cull.
So a massive Slicing Maelstrom can be the thing that turns a fight in top esports' favor.
We'll now find out. 20 seconds till that spawn. Shalombout in the river first. Xiaohu moves his way as well as yuyanjia has made his position known. But look at where Nu is. Even with the TP, he's pushing in with a bit of a level lead.
Yep, he's trying to force 369 back, and it looks like it's working. You said he has a level lead, so if a fight breaks out right now, we're getting the level 2 on the Dominus for Nu.
Across the arrow used, Shockwave as well onto yuyanjia. He's delayed a bit of time as Shalombout stands on top. The teleport used on the off our screen as RNG get the first kill. Knight jumps in without the rest of his team, gets the face breaker, showstopper as well, survives long enough, slicing Maelstrom, hits pretty much no one, and top esports, 1 by 1, the ants go marching in to die.
And beautiful fight coming out from RNG, great enchanted crystal arrow, and a massive whoopsie coming out from Knight with the ultimate into the enemy team
this
all
has not
by
been
himself.
His series. This really has not.
This has been one of the worst series we've seen from Knight all year. Actually, it actually might be the worst series we've seen from Knight all year long. But, you know, great job coming out from RNG. We talked about the level lead coming out from Nu as well, right? That would play a massive role, having that level 2 dominance compared to the level 1 Slicing Maelstrom. Great ultimate coming out from Ming to keep Xiaohu alive that whole time as well.
And RNG now 2k goal ahead with a Rift Herald taken. I mean, Shalombout dictating the pace once again. It's everything used on this North, but it works out.
They find a great pick onto yuyanjia here. Shalombout able to go in aggressively. Now Knight goes in. Karsa was not on the same page. He was running away. JackeyLove over the wall. 369 kind of getting in here, but obviously not fast enough with the TP. Goes one way. 369 Nu doing so much work on the opposite side with that dominance as we talked about. Just setting up GALA to pick up another kill.
I love the ships passing in the night from Knight and Shalombout. He's just like, yep, you go one way, I'll go another. And bit of a highlight on GALA here on the bottom of your screen. 8.8 CS a minute here in this game too.
This also goes back to what we saw early on in spring of Karsa going one way, Knight going the opposite, not being on the same page. The synergy wasn't there. That was top esports' massive flaw.
It was fixed with JackeyLove coming into the roster. But today might not be their days. Across the arrow comes out once again. The shockwave pulls in Karsa. One Nidalee is not like the other apparently in this series, as Knight's still positioning for a flank, but the Rift Herald gets the mid turret. RNG pick off the kill. They're going to walk down towards the Dragon as 369 tries to hide and wait.
Yep, so they still want to contest for this fight. It is 4v5 as you mentioned.
But he's spotted out, slicing Maelstrom in on 3 again, but RNG respect it, flash away themselves onto 369. He's just dead. Low health bars for RNG, but there's not that much damage bar JackeyLove. Ming pops his ulti. They want to kill Knight, who kites his way away. And that might be the end, but the Dragon should be theirs.
369 thinking he can burst out multiple members right now in a fight, you know, just overestimate his damage. Both GALA and Ming still had flash. Now Knight.
But no one else with him.
Kind of posturing in a very sassy way.
Yeah. And you know what? Top esports are down 3k gold all of a sudden, and there's an Infernal Rift.
Yeah, and we're seeing RNG now potentially being able to stack up 3 Infernal Drakes. I mean, right now, Shalombout and GALA are both massive, and these were the 2 members we highlighted coming out of draft, right? We saw Lulu, we saw Orianna, we're like, oh my god, the shield's gonna come in for Shalombout and GALA. 3-0 and 5 on the Ashe, 4-1 and 4 on the Olaf. Things are looking great.
008 here.
Damn it, Hysterics. I said it all week. I've said it to you all week. The second we got off the RNG hype train, RNG would do good.
And even though it's so hard for them to make playoffs, this is definitely where they begin. It's an impossible 2-0 that we're facing, yet here it is.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough because, again, it's not in their hands. It's up to teams like FPX, and FPX play, their schedule is DMO and Suning left, a very winnable schedule for the side of FPX.
But RNG can hit 9.
Yes.
The problem is their game differential.
This was the hardest thing left in their schedule. The rest of their schedule was pretty easy after this. I think they still play BLG. You're going to have it up in front of you. So
I have a laptop. BLG and Rogue Warriors, and Rogue Warriors aren't looking great, so they should be very winnable series with RNG in this form. But still, they have to close out this series. And we talked a lot about range options for top esports in the late game, but they're not going to get there because they keep getting caught out.
Yep, there is no late game for them. Great job of Xiaohu. We see the value of the GLP as we talked about Xiaohu picking that one up first. We've seen a lot of great arrows this game. RNG are just so good at pushing the pace of the game, and it's where it's been their strength all year long, right? They've been a great early game team all year long. It's just kind of been after that where they have been prone to flounder.
369 looked like he was checking River, and then the movement speed, pretty insane from the RNG combo.
It's always great to see Ming, I'm sorry, pull out these picks. Things like the Lulu, like the Morgana, like the Karma.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if Ning pulled those picks out in the jungle too, though, but
again,
I don't expect it.
I wish we got to a point where Ning was an AD carry once more, and like he was when he started League of Legends, when he played with Ming.
I scrimmed that team.
Did you?
Yeah, they
Ning
were,
and Ming.
Yeah, Ning and Ming were. We used to scrim Young Miracles quite a bit.
B1 and B2.
They were so good. Every iteration of Young Miracles was so good.
Whatever's going into that team is. I mean, I haven't looked at the recent iterations, but expect them to be on the tip of our tongues.
I don't think they're doing as good. I'll look. Ooh,
Might not matter because of the organization. Let's pause, though, because, the Enchanter Across the Arrow does go wide. True Shot Barrage was used by JackeyLove as well.
To be fair, there's nothing on the map they're fighting for right now. Like, it's literally just to find kills. And sure, if they got that pick, they can turn it into Baron, but... Right, we're waiting 2 minutes for that next Infernal Drake.
Here we go, onto GALA. Depth charge being used, 369 with a subpar ulti. They just run in again. The Wild Growth is used on the Olaf. The Shockwave brings them in. Knight takes GALA back, but he's like, okay, closer to the fight. Eureka, baby, as RNG look unstoppable against what was the best team in the LPL.
And RNG coming out so strong, going to now be able to pick up a Baron. Like you said, 2-0ing top esports. Most teams can't even take a game off top esports.
And top esports, again, that range advantage does not matter because RNG are in first. They're in with a 5k gold lead in this Baron.
Range advantage also doesn't matter when you're the ones running in. You asked me after draft, so do the top esports want to run into RNG? No, that is not how this composition plays out. And they've just continuously fallen behind. RNG doing a great job taking advantage. I do understand the logic, right? They think they found this pick. yuyanjia failing that Q. Didn't work out, but still, GALA's stopwatch, even had he hit it, he wasn't going down. Great reaction time coming out from RNG. Xiaohu playing that fight beautifully as well. Ming providing all the shields, all the ultimate. Xiaohu flashing in aggressively.
Yeah, what you like to see out of the mid laner of RNG.
That's what I love to see. That's what I was born to see, Hysterics.
What we've been waiting to see for weeks. This is the thing, RNG may have a very deep name within the LPL. People remember Royal Club at Worlds, where Uzi made his debut year and his debut at Worlds at the same time. I have to pause because we're now into the wild Ragnar Lothbrok moment of Xiaohu. And we know that Ragnar's king, as Xiaohu has been in this series. That arrow lands, but RNG can't get over the wall. They're kind of flexing a bit here because the Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds they want to kill. 2
ultimates wasted, so that's going to be pretty massive with Dragon up in 30 seconds, but I'm all aboard with the Colonel.
Yeah.
I think RNG has this one locked.
Something has to go drastically wrong at this point at 22 minutes in the game.
And the thing is, we've seen top East. I'm going to slow down. For this fight, I mean, realistically, you would need some kind of miracle play coming up from TES. As we can see with RNG having the Baron, they really don't even have a way of controlling the waves.
You just hitting the side lane with the Baron buff. 369 forced to respond, but this turret's going down. And now more threat as mid-inner goes down as well.
But I do want to take a step back and go back to the point I wanted to make, that even against IG, we've seen top esports draft these comps that want to play from a range, want to take it a bit slower than the enemy composition.
Yep.
But top esports don't do that. Top esports do always want to go toe-to-toe. They do feel like they can, outplay a lot of these situations. They do have the skill on their roster. And it always gets them into situations like this game, like that last fight, where they pretty much just give the game over to the enemy team.
Where they got limited options left available. There's an Infernal Soul coming up on the board here for RNG. on Soul Point. And the Baron still has a minute. So RNG trying to get that pick so they can break the base indefinitely.
Yep, and now they're going to recall and, you know, having the 2 Infernals, I feel like they feel fine taking the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds slow. They realistically shouldn't have a way to open the inhibitor turrets of the base. You know, we can see them send, let's say, Renekton bot, their core 3 mid get the push, hover topside with the Orianna and take that last tier 2 topside turret, but you're definitely going to rely on either a pick, so mispositioning from TES, or a teamfight win in front of Baron or Dragon to break down the base from TES.
An RNG, that's very possible at this point.
To be fair, though, their wave clear actually isn't that good, right? Nidalee provides no wave clear, and even Ezreal, I mean, all of your abilities are single target other than your ultimates.
Yeah. I mean, the Kennen has to run through the wave, which is also his escape tool.
Yeah, so RNG potentially might try and set up a siege potential where, you know, they hope that someone from TS over-aggresses and walks forward. I just don't necessarily think they need to or even should.
Feels like we're in like that late game moment, right? We're only 24 minutes in. The reality is this, that RNG could actually beat top esports in under 1 hour. And for a best of 3 series, that's pretty bonkers, flat out.
I don't think we've seen any team beat top esports this decisively. Like, sure, IG 2-0'd them, but we saw the clip from that game too. Top esports had that game won.
It wasn't decisive.
It was over.
This is the most decisive victory against top esports this entire split.
Oh, this is what I've been telling you guys all along, man. The potential's always here.
If they win this, are you now the Xiaohu
I'm back.
appreciationist again?
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, RNG will make a fan and a believer out of you. They're 8K gold up in this game, 25 minutes
will
in.
make me a business card.
Oh, yeah?
He said he would do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what a nice guy.
Well, if only predicted RNG for this series.
I know.
We all went top esports, of course we would, but backing on a ward, you might be caught on out. Slice and dices away, Dredge line doesn't connect now. Turning it around with the movement speed, intent across the arrow, 2-man shockwave, and you thought you were baited in, but you was the one doing it as GALA gets hit with a spear. But Xiao on bow, it's Ragnar again! All hail the king of this game in 2-0 fashion. It's what it's about to be.
And massive play coming out from New, just, I mean, dodging away from the dredge line. yuyanjia not in the position he wants to be in, and you pointed out the shockwave. I mean, New was in front of our eyes, and then he wasn't.
And gone just like that with large death timers, especially on JackeyLove. RNG piling through the bottom lane.
Yep, they are definitely going to pick up this inhibitor, and if TS fight, this might just be the game.
Knight, Karsa, yuyanjia giving them the space as the inhibitor is definitely dropping. Knight positioning for a flank, but RNG are backing away as a 5-man unit.
They're posturing. 369 has TP. 369's going for the TP. Has slicing
Never mind, RNG like, let's turn around and kill yuyanjia. Teleport to fly through as top esports are bringing in the cavalry in JackeyLove. True Shot Barrage flies through only GALA.
Shockwave's back up.
369 here, needs to get that flash, slicing Maelstrom, pulled on in, Knight gets the engage, it's a 2-man phase breaker, in comes 369, the surge of electricity does something, but RNG might be too far ahead. JackeyLove with the carry, comes close, and may have just done it actually, with RNG getting aced by JackeyLove.
And JackeyLove finding top esports way back into this game. Massive play, great coordination coming out from both Knight and 369. Massive AoE onto the team, and Baron's just about to come up.
And Baron might just be theirs. The death time, as you mentioned, very long. Somehow, game ain't over.
And somehow, I mean, look at JackeyLove's face cam if you can see it. He was actually just laughing, realizing, hey guys,
Dude.
I don't know how he pulled this one off, but good job, team.
JackeyLove types in all chat. He says, winnable. And the enemy team going to get tilted from that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Karsa did type it all chat, honestly. If you were Karsa, you would type it all chat.
That's good form.
It is, I agree. And again, so now TS have a way to start playing the game back. Sure, let's slow down and say they're still about 6K gold down, so realistically, you shouldn't expect them to win. Their RNG have the potential to pick up Infernal Soul right now. Oh, God.
But Xiaohu might have found 369. The Kennen gets pulled back in, and he's just dead.
Well, we were just praising top esports. We're talking about how it's potentially their game again.
And we got an Infernal Soul still for RNG, so now that 369's dead, that's going to be huge. But watch how top esports stayed in the game.
Yeah, we see them go for this fight. As I pointed out, the Orianna Shockwave's already back up, but Knight finds a great avenue into the fight. JackeyLove just laying down all this damage on the outside. Good ult comboed in. 369 now going to follow with a slicing Maelstrom as well. And actually, let's ignore this because on the side of our screens, RNG are aggressively pushing for the end.
They're running it through mid with a broken inhibitor bot, now one through mid. Topside's getting set up as a free Infernal Soul, and I think 369 just undoes all that great work put down by the rest and himself of 369, or sorry, Top Esports.
That's looking, I mean, again, even with that last fight, RNG were still in control, but Top Esports shouldn't have had a way to even come back into this game, at all. Full stop. It was supposed to be over. Great of them to find that team fight, but hey, I don't think you're going to find any more team fights with this Infernal Soul coming out. And triple Infernal as well, right? Let's highlight 3 Infernal Drakes as well.
And still, that big gold lead of 6K. Now, Top Esports have Baron. That may have slowed things down in a sense. But you're not saying that at this point, because Elder up in 5 minutes, the Baron expiring in 130, and RNG are so mobile, they're so quick. All it takes is one more misstep from Top Esports, and they are out of this series. They take another 2-0 loss. And Chad across the arrow, flying through Arcane Shift away.
I'm surprised they looked for it, because the thing is, the macro for RNG now should be so easy, right? Because 2 inhibitors are down.
Oh, hang on, Xiaohu's in off the side, gets his shockwave onto 3! JackeyLove slow and dead! Xiaohu may have just ended this series. Running into Xiaohu as Knight gets knocked up by the wild growth. Movement speed slowed on down, but he's onto 369. And again, it really does feel like he's the true Viking, as RNG might just look to end it here.
Yeah, massive play from Xiaohu. Like you said, they're just going to end.
Running on top, Knight gets slowed on down. New has the damage. Burst Nexus Tower drops on down. Xiaohu getting low with Ignite and the burn. 369 with the lightning. Knight pulls him in, but he's dead. Top laner down. Infernal Soul paying dividends. And Top Esports once again show that they can bleed, and RNG do the cutting.
And RNG show this team at its height can play